The For Baby's Sake Trust has created a set of trauma insight resources, supporting professionals to open up safe and sensitive conversations with parents and children. Enabling parents or children to tell their own unique, authentic stories in their own way is empowering and supports recovery. Yet the trauma itself creates barriers to this storytelling, so these resources are designed above all to help you reduce the barriers. They combine insights to build your trauma-informed understanding with techniques you can use to build your trauma-informed practice. The three resources are Growing Up with Adversity, Breaking the Cycle, a strengths-based approach to support recovery for parents with unresolved trauma, a strengths-based approach to support recovery for traumatized children. This video provides an overview of all three resources. Let's start with Growing Up with Adversity, Breaking the Cycle. It's a resource that demonstrates how adverse childhood experiences have the potential to impair intergenerational life chances and how frontline workers can create opportunities for deeper understanding and change to help break the cycle. I'll take you through it. Adverse childhood experiences, also known as ACEs, are stressful events occurring in childhood. Traumatic events of the earliest years of infancy and childhood are not lost, but like a child's footprints in wet cement, are often preserved lifelong. Time does not heal the wounds that occur in those earliest years. Time conceals them. They're not lost, they're embodied. The root of many physical, mental, and emotional conditions can stem from childhood. Exposure to multiple traumatic events will have implications on how an individual might live their life. Our behavior, thoughts, and feelings may be linked to these unacknowledged traumas and can create emotions such as shame, worthlessness, feelings of depression, and anger. Dissociation is a natural response to traumatic experiences. It happens more intensely in response to prolonged and repeated trauma when the brain disconnects from what is happening and to escape distress. When this occurs, we can subconsciously create fantasies, our basic capacity underlying and shaping our thoughts, dreams, symptoms, and patterns of defense. Emotional vulnerability for many people can bring up feelings of being exposed, judged, fear of being hurt, humiliated, and shamed. Infancy and early childhood are developmental periods when emotional development is particularly malleable and highly affected by trauma exposure. Unhelpful coping strategies may be adopted to deal with unresolved issues, resulting in feelings of worthlessness, loneliness, and a fragile sense of self. Fear of being unlovable is a shame-based fear of being unworthy of love. A coping mechanism for not feeling worthy of love would be to distance ourselves from loving relationships of any sort. Unfortunately, the cycle continues if trauma isn't processed, resulting in emotionally unavailable parenting. Through acceptance, empathy, and a therapeutic relationship, as well as an opportunity to tell our story and process our trauma histories, we can begin to look inward to discover what is required to support recovery, sustainable change, and the opportunity for future generations. That animated tour of the Adversity Wheel is available as a standalone video. The PDF version of the wheel also contains a table with more ideas and explanations for trauma-informed questions you can use. Turning now to the other two resources for trauma-informed work with parents and with children. Each resource, comprising a diagram, pamphlet, and a standalone video, supports you to appreciate how traumatic memories may be stored without words, suppressed by fear, shame, or pain, or retold with ambivalence. To consider what lies beneath someone's words, emotions, feelings, and behaviors. And to create safe conditions to explore with people what they need through an authentic, utterly non-judgmental, therapeutic, and strengths-based approach. For parents, when any trauma remains unsolved and they have not been able to process their own emotions connected to the events, they can struggle to meet their own needs and to create a secure base for their children. Early unresolved traumatic events can be triggered when having a baby. The infant's distress can trigger painful feelings for the parent, which can lead to an intense fear of vulnerability and a desire to be detached. When supporting a parent with unresolved trauma, offer reassurance that it's never too late to change or build resilience. Remember to ask parents, what do you need? What do your children need? This will encourage self-reflection and fight the difficult self-deception parents with unresolved trauma often experience. Empowering parents to meet their children's needs will aid the recovery of both. As professionals, we can ask the magic wand question, a solution-focused technique used to encourage the parent to think about what they really want in the future. The diagram and guidance recognize that parents need an intergenerational approach to support their recovery from unresolved trauma, harnessing their motivation to give their children a better start. Open up the conversations with parents and move forward with suggested strategies for attachment-focused parenting and improving parents' own emotional regulation. Remember that relationships heal relationships, and there is no space for blame. Traumatized children present with multiple layers of complexity and can have unpredictable needs and anxieties that are revealed over time. A strengths-based approach requires understanding any hypervigilant, disproportionate, or withdrawn behavior not as challenging but as distressed and as signals of overwhelming feelings. Crucially, the trauma can prevent children from developing the essential life skills that they need, such as being able to manage impulses and solve problems, and lead to children growing up with negative core beliefs about themselves and the world. As professionals supporting children with trauma histories, we must accept the science of brain development that neurologically these children are wired differently. There is no place for blame. The diagram and guidance show how to be the difference for children who have unresolved trauma. Children rarely change until their parent or someone they trust asks them, "What do you need right now?" Develop a relationship with the child and create safe conditions, including by acting in ways that reassure the child that they do have some control over their lives, as you explore with them how they feel and what they need. Always remember, there is always a reason why children behave the way that they do. If your role is to work directly with a traumatized child, always ask yourself, what support do the parents need to support their child's recovery, and do everything possible to help put that in place. While professionals can make a real difference to children's lives, a parent or carer who is empowered to give their child a secure base can help them move towards greater security and build their resilience. The 3 resources created by the For Baby's Sake Trust all point to the power of an intergenerational response to adverse childhood experiences and breaking cycles of childhood trauma. The resources, each with their own diagram, guidance, and video, also contain many practical techniques for frontline workers in a wide range of settings and contexts, wherever your role involves connecting with parents or children whose unresolved trauma may be holding them back from making changes in their lives or fulfilling their potential. Remember, relationships heal relationships.